Hey guys, so I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I just started watching Power Rangers Beast Morphers recently, so I decided to share my thoughts on what I've seen so far. So, Power Rangers Beast Morphers is the newest season of the show and the first of this new Hasbro era, and it's okay. It definitely has some corny and cringy dialogue,
You're so cute!
I hate when people call me cute.
stupid writing, shitty costumes, annoying and overused catchphrases,
Unleash the beast!
Virus eliminated.
but it also has its good moments too. And thankfully, it's not as horrible as Ninja Steel and Mega Force were. Now, probably the main issue with Beast Morphers is the lack of consistency. This season is full of contradictions, from the overall story, to the characters, to the settings, and more. And you're gonna hear about them throughout this review. One of the best things they did was finally acknowledge the history of this show from the very beginning, and nobody ever questioned what a Power Ranger was.
You're creating Power Rangers.
That's correct.
Rangers? Cool.
Ironically, they didn't know the Red Ranger was their leader.
With all this new hardware, it's critical that the team have the right leader.
I'm happy to accept that responsibility, Commander. And that is how a true leader kicks robot butt.
And that's how a true leader protects her team.
They even conveniently elected Devin, the Red Ranger, to lead the team, just for the sake of a teamwork episode. The unmorphed fights are good. A bit extra, even for Power Rangers, but still good. Riptide Gym. This is the hangout area for the Rangers and the other teenagers of this show. In fact, it's a complete copy of the youth center from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Literally everything is the same. If they had this in Mega Force or even Ninja Steel, then I wouldn't have a problem with it. But in this case, it's just forced fan service since it doesn't fit in with the rest of the show. The characters are alright. There's not much to say about them, and they all fit into their roles in the show quite well. Devin, the Red Ranger, is playful and energetic, but keeps comparing things to video games.
I'll just pretend it's another video game and kick some robot butt.
My life is suddenly like one big video game.
Ravi, the Blue Ranger, is the serious one who is also very boring.
The drill still gives me the heebie-jeebies. Ever since then, I've been brushing and flossing to make sure I don't need to go back.
Zoe, the Yellow Ranger, is optimistic and always happy.
And I'm Zoe.
That's it.
Because I'm not afraid of big problems. I solve big problems.
Now, as I'm sure you know, while being held captive by Blaze and Roxy, Nate and the robot he builds become the Gold and Silver Ranger. Nate is the head scientist at Grid Battle Force, and is a bad imitation of Billy from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Affirmative.
Phenomenal!
He created the Morph-X, the Rangers, their weapons, Zords, and pretty much everything else in this show. He usually helps the Rangers from inside the lab by sending them everything they use to fight evil. Now that we know this, where the hell did this guy learn to fight? As soon as he got his powers, he instantly became a black belt and an expert fighter just like the rest of the team. When only a few episodes ago, he was hiding from the enemy whenever they appeared. At least we saw Billy learning how to fight. The Silver Ranger is a robot called Steel, and it thinks it's a human and the brother of Nate.
Because you're family. And you're my only brother.
It constantly makes dumb, corny jokes and stupid one-liners.
Who are you calling a robot? Can't you see I'm half human? Are you bugging me because you have mantis DNA in you? Get it? Bug? Mantis? It's hard to blend in when you're made to stand out.
This was actually a really good idea because his dry, awkward humor shows how he tries to understand what it means to be human and to better relate to everyone. Now, Blaze and Roxy do a good job at playing second-in-command villains. Blaze is better than Roxy since he seems the most natural, while Roxy feels like she's trying to act evil. Evox is the typical main villain who wants to use Morph-X to escape the dimension he's in so that he could destroy Grid Battle Force. For some reason. The most interesting I find of all these villains is Blaze because his personality never changes when he joins Evox. This shows that he was never really a good guy to start with and could easily have become a villain even without Evox. And then there's Ben and Betty, aka the bulk and skull of this season. These two are really annoying, and their tasteless humor is completely forced and just gets in the way of everything, and so it ends up making the whole show a complete chore to sit through. Mayor Daniels is the father of Devin, and this guy is just filled with inconsistencies and contradictions. He was one of the very first critics of Morph-X, and as a very influential public figure, his opinion is very important in showing the concern he has for his city.
Since before you were born, every monster out there in every dimension, from Rita Repulsa to Sledge and Galvanax, they've all wanted to take the Rangers' power and rule the universe. And now that you've wrapped it up with a ribbon, some evil mind will try to take it again. And when they come, this place, Grid Battle Force, won't be able to stop them.
What? After episode 1, that all just disappeared. It's the same with his relationship with his son, Devin. At first, he was shown to be a strict, overbearing father who views his son, Devin, as a disappointment.
Devin!
Hey, Dad.
His dad's the mayor.
You are leaving. Now!
Then he was a happy, loving, proud father that just wanted to spend time with his son.
I've got an hour to my next meeting. I'll show you a few of my trade secrets.
You've worked at a car wash.
How do you think I pay for all those dates with your mother?
Hey! Wash the car, not me.
And then back to being strict.
Don't hate Dad and me. You ran away when people needed your help. That's not the young man I raised you to be. You're out until all hours. You won't find a job. You come back bruised and battered like you've been fighting. I feel like I don't even know you anymore.
It's obvious that they're trying to recreate the daddy issues of RPM. Trying being the key word, and failing. The problem is that in RPM, the father-son dynamic felt real in that Scott, the Red Ranger, was trying to live up to the unrealistic expectations and the standards of his father. And throughout the season, Scott proves himself and makes his father acknowledge him. In Beast Morphers, though, Devin already has his dad's respect and just has to get a job. Also, these two were only together in a couple of episodes, so it was very easy to forget this forced father-son dynamic was supposed to be happening. Grid Battle Force. This is a high-tech command center and secret government facility where Morph-X, the Rangers, and all their Zords and weapons are made, similar to RPM. Also, all the teenagers in this show work at Grid Battle Force.
Hang on, I thought you two were security guards.
Ben and Betty assist in any area I see fit. And some areas I don't see any fit at all.
Are you security?
Not exactly. I work in laundry. You?
No, just trespassing.
Came here when you were just 6 years old.
At 10, he discovered how to tap into the Power Rangers morphing grid.
Who else? Remember, I am the only one who actually trained to be a ranger. I've got the most experience.
I reorganized the entire Grid Battle Force laundry department.
Their parents know this and are okay with their kids working at a secret government facility instead of being in school. Morph-X is the green liquid that gives the Rangers and the villains all of their powers. This is actually a pretty smart idea because it helps break the fourth wall by saying it's converted from the morphing grid, which is made of pure energy. Also, when the mayor explained the risks of having Morph-X lying around, since every villain in Power Ranger history has tried to get their hands on the power of the morphing grid for themselves, and Nate has just made it easy for them. And Evox just takes advantage of this to make his own evil rangers and monsters by stealing the Morph-X that's just lying around everywhere, in trucks, cars, bicycles, buildings, etc. Oh yes, and before I forget, whatever happened to the teleporting? It was such a quick, easy, and convenient way for the Rangers to travel. Now they're always running or driving to the fight scenes, as if somehow they managed to run across town in just a matter of seconds. The stupid thing is that the villains can teleport, the weapons can teleport, but not the Rangers. Did the special effects budget just run out, or did the people making the show just not care? Now, as you know, in this show they have animal DNA mixed into Morph-X that gives them their powers. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. It makes absolutely no sense. It feels like the writers just came up with this retarded idea, maybe because there's an animal theme in the costume design. But if that's the case, did Wild Force have animal DNA? Did Jungle Fury have animal DNA? Did Dino Charge have dinosaur DNA? Did In Space have rocket fuel? You see how stupid all this sounds? The animals chosen are a cheetah, gorilla, and rabbit. The cheetah and gorilla powers are perfectly fine, but why a rabbit? I guess in the Sentai, the Japanese thought it would be cute for the girl to have rabbit powers. Anyway, the Rangers have powers relative to their animal DNA, like super speed.
How'd I do that? It's the cheetah DNA inside.
Super strength.
Let's try my gorilla strength.
And jumping really high.
That was incredible! It must be my jackrabbit DNA!
But their weaknesses are also related to their animal DNA. like Devin freezing even when he sees a picture of a dog.
Oh no! I'm freezing up again!
Ravi going wild.
My aim is just fine!
What are you doing? Please stop!
And Zoe losing all her energy.
No! I'm losing energy!
And so to solve these problems, just move the dog from Devin's line of sight, calm Ravi down, and just feed Zoe a carrot, and all her powers come back.
A dog. Just like in the city. Devin has cheetah DNA in him. Cheetahs are cats, and cats are scared of dogs. When you guys became rangers, you briefly made contact with the Evox virus. It looks like it corrupted your animal DNA, causing these odd weaknesses. Of course!
Wait a minute. Candy bars. You know, candy bars. They usually come in a wrapper, just like you wrap a Christmas present. Christmas happens when it's cold. Cold, and it's in Alaska. That's where the polar bears. Polarity. I can switch the polarity to see what transmissions are coming from the location this one is being sent to.
And somehow the writers thought this was a good idea. Surprised they didn't make Ravi eat a banana. This is just further proof of how stupid this whole animal DNA idea is. The Gold and Silver Ranger both have insect DNA for their ranger costumes, but as I said earlier, Steel thinks it's a human being, and that's because it has human DNA inside of it as well. Nate explains that when they got their powers, the Morph-X bonded Steel systems to Nate's human DNA, and this ends up making Steel think that it's Nate's brother, on top of just being part human. As I said in an earlier video, the costumes suck. Everything is made of leather, and they have sunglasses for visors. I don't need to say anything else. The Beast Bots are robots specially designed for the Power Rangers to help them with things like training, powering their Zords, and all kinds of things. On top of that, they also have animal DNA inside of them.
We get our own robots?
I prefer the term Beast Bots since their circuits are infused with animal DNA.
Which makes them cyborgs? I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Plus, these things even have their own quirks and human personalities. Like Jax, who seems to be hardworking and very determined, but with an inferiority complex.
This one's yours.
Ah, Zoe, I'm Jax. I'm here to make sure you're fast and efficient.
Great, thanks. Oh, you're so cute.
I hate when people call me cute.
Smash is loving, friendly, and kind of goofy, but gets depressed very easily. Especially since Ravi is an asshole to him.
Ravi! My name's Smash! Bring it in!
Sorry, not really the hugging type.
Oh, but I like hugs!
And Cruz is forgetful.
Hi, Devin. My name is... Wait, what is it again?
Your name is Cruz. He's a little forgetful.
Yes, you heard that correct. A robot that's forgetful. And nobody ever thought to fix this obvious bug. They just thought, fuck it, let's put the fate of the world in the hands of this obviously broken machine. Now, Steel is always hanging out with the Rangers in full view of the public with plenty of people watching, like at the Riptide Gym and other places. And somehow, nobody notices or thinks it's strange that there's a talking robot just casually hanging out with these teenagers.
Whoa, nice robot, dude.
Also, there are no objections from Grid Battle Force. You'd think they, of all people, would want to keep Steel a secret from the public, especially since they are keeping the Rangers' identity secret.
Meet your team. I'm sorry. Their identities must remain secret. I'm sure you understand.
Also, how hard is it for people to put 2 and 2 together? The Power Rangers have robots, these guys hang out with a robot, maybe that must mean they're the Power Rangers. So I'm sure, as you've noticed, almost everything I've mentioned in this review is an example of this season's inconsistencies. To recap, not knowing the Red Ranger's the leader, despite acknowledging the history of the show, the Riptide Gym, aka the youth center, and the secret government facility, the Force Daddy issues, Morph-X all over the city, and robots walking around in public. Now, before I forget, I need to talk about the Christmas special. This was the worst thing that this show could have done because it destroyed all my hopes of Beast Morphers ever being better than the Neo Saban era. Even though Power Rangers is just a kid's show that's an endless toy commercial, this Christmas special took everything that was mature and serious that was built up over the season and just threw it down the toilet.
Santa! How would you like to see the real Santa's village?
Whoa, yeah, we'd love to!
We're going to the North Pole!
That's my favorite pole!
Mine too! Come on, let's go. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
But besides all that, Beast Morphers is pretty interesting to watch so far. It's a definite step above everything that came before, and I'm interested to see where things are going to go in this new Hasbro